Hey family, how you doing? It's Tasha from MAMABEAR Prepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel where we just talk about food preservation, emergency preparedness, different things that you and your family can do to be ready for all things that might come your way. Basically, I just tell you what me and my family do and to hopefully give you ideas of stuff you can do. So today, I just want to get into 5 things that I suppose I 100% believe are going to be issues this next year. I don't think it's a 2023 thing only. I think this is just stuff that's been happening that is going to continue to happen, and that you should be preparing to handle these 5 things, okay? Number one thing that I think you're gonna have to worry about, and I think this is a no-brainer if you've been paying attention at all to the news and different things that's been happening, and that's power outages. I think 100% we're gonna have to deal with them. It's just a matter of time. We talk about this all the time, but I just think that there's definite signs or definite red flags of things that are happening to hopefully push you towards, wow, this is serious, this is happening, this is going to continue to happen, and it's going to continue to be an issue. And there's all different ways that you can get to the end result of a power outage and how you and your family deal with said power outage, okay? So whatever it is that you still need to do for your preparedness journey and getting your said supplies for dealing with grid down, dealing with no power, how do you go about doing your everyday life? You need to get that stuff done, right? If you don't have a power unit, a solar generator yet, get one. And really any size is going to benefit you and your family, because even the smallest size can run a string of red Christmas lights around your house for you to be able to see at night, have light discipline from neighbors seeing, and all that good stuff, to be able to do things, right? Play some board games with your family, whatever, right? At a minimum, that's low level, power, right? Something at a minimum that will charge that laptop that has the games on it, or charge your phones, or still be able to get the news. Maybe there's internet to be able to still charge those things, okay? And then you build from there. Maybe you want a bigger unit so you can keep your freezer, your refrigerator going. You want to keep the camera system going. Whatever it is that's important to you and your family, you want to be able to get that powering unit and have that, and have it done and ready to go, okay? There's a ton of supplies that you're going to need for having no power and preparing. Even if you've done this, the most important part is to continue to do it, right? And to increase the level of the level of preparedness that you've done in that area, right? Because there's always something to do, right? If you're completely done, start working on how you're going to cook, different various options for being able to cook with no power. How are you doing your water? Maybe you get a no boil notice. What do you have for filtering water, for boiling water, for doing said things? Okay, so there's always something more to be done. Okay, so power outages is number one thing I think we're going to have to worry about this next year. Another thing I think we're going to have to worry about is banking issues. Seeing more and more of this. We've talked about this a couple times on the channel already. Money concerns, not keeping all your eggs in one basket, right? Not keeping all your money in the bank and that's it. I think we're going to see concerns. We're already seeing stuff, caps on ATM funds, money missing from people's accounts being closed or frozen for no reason. And so there's a lot of things going on. I'm not a financial person. I'm not here to tell you, hey, get your gold, get your silver, get your Bitcoin, get your whatever. But I am a big fan of options. And so spreading that money across different things. And to me, hard assets are the number one thing that I think will benefit you and your family. What are the actual physical things that are going to take your family the distance, right? And a lot of that is preparedness items. A lot of that is the systems and the different things that you can get in order to continue to survive and thrive in an emergency crisis, right? Getting a large water filtering unit, right? Having the ability to do the things that you do now, but with no power, right? Having an emergency and being able to have the tools on hand and the supplies on hand to handle that yourself, right? And this goes on and on. There's so many areas that this matters, right? And having the ability to do that with hard assets could be more beneficial than when the dollar loses its value. And you therefore either it's a crash and the dollar doesn't mean anything, or 2, it's a crash in the sense of the banks crash, the ATMs or power, and you can't even get to the money, okay? Or they freeze it and you're not able to get to it. So it's super important to have cash on hand, to have other ways of money, to think income, to think how would you continue to make income? What can you barter? What can you use? What skills do you have? Everything to do with when the money goes, how you're surviving. Okay, so banking issues and money issues, I think, is going to be an issue this year. Okay, and something to take a look at and be watching. Next thing I have is medical supplies. Been talking about this for a while. This is my bread and butter, right? Water, food, meds. Meds are going to get to the issue where you can't get them anymore. That's going to be a problem, right? And it's going to get so bad that it is my belief that the government will start to regulate stuff that right now you can get basic over-the-counter ailment type stuff. Eventually will be either limited or regulated in some way where you have to actually go to a doctor to get something very simple over the counter that you could get now and stockpile, but later you'd have to go through seeing a doctor and having them concur and say, hey, you need some of this to take it. Okay, so medical supplies cannot, and I said medical supplies because it's more than it's the meds, over-the-counter meds, it's prescription meds we're having problems with, it's your vitamins, it's your supplements, like get all those things, and then it's medical supplies itself, right? Your band-aids, your creams, your ointments, your this, your that, right? All of that stuff is going to be hard to, as we move forward, because things are going to happen. Things are going to happen with our people, with our society, with the world, right? Whether that's wars, whether that's pandemics, whatever it is. And those supplies are not going to be available. They're going to be snatched up. People are going to get them and you're not going to be able to get them. So now's the time while you still can to get that stuff. I think an increase in crime. So crime, I think you're going to see an increase in crime. I think you're going to see an increase in personal attacks. I was on a channel last night, my friend, my brother, having a conversation with him, dummy me thinking it was just an intimate, private, comment to this person. And somebody felt the need to attack me and be like, well, you don't talk like that on your channel. And I was like, how dare you? First of all, I'm me all the time, 100%, no matter where you see me, no matter what words come out of my mouth, it's me, right? And I was so offended. I was so offended because nothing I said was bad. I mean, I guess I offended because I used the word yo. I used the word bro. You don't hear me saying that over here, so you felt the need to attack me. I just think we're going to see more of that. You're going to see more trolls. You're going to see more haters. You're going to see more people attacking people. You're going to see more physical attacks of people in the news and around the world. People being jumped. People getting, get things stolen from them, right? Things are not well in the world and evil is out there, and those things are going to continue to happen, and you just have to strengthen yourself, strengthen your resolve, strengthen you, and understand who you are, and to have your head on a swivel and to completely be watching at all times your surroundings and people that are around you. And crime is not going anywhere, right? Security, you got to get your security unlocked at your home. You got to get your security when you're out and about in your car. Daytime, nighttime, it doesn't matter. This is going to increase. We're about to go into a time period, if you will, of political demise, right? The next couple years, as we move forward to that next big election, it's going to be nothing but chaos and a lot of drama and a lot of angry people fighting and division and all these things happening. It's going to be a lot of political demise happening, right? And crime is going to happen. So head on a swivel, pay attention, get your stuff on lock, because you're going to see this, okay? And then the last thing is something we've all been dealing with. Everybody, I think, on some sort of level across the United States has been dealing with certain weather. Even folks that never deal with any kind of weather, it's warm in their area all the time, they got down to, let's say, the 30s. Those places that don't deal with that type of weather, that destroys those folks. We say, well, it wasn't minus something, it wasn't this, it wasn't that. But if you have areas that are usually 80s, 90s on a regular basis and all of a sudden drop down to 30, you have gardeners, you have folks that never have to worry about that stuff and didn't prepare, and whole gardens are destroyed. You have all types of stuff happening right now, and people dealing with this. So on some sort of level, everybody across the United States is dealing with this cold snap, and there's more to come, and just keep getting hit. Now, more places than are harder, obviously hit harder than some places, right? I've seen some stuff in Buffalo that I'm like, a whole house is just encased in ice. I mean, that's crazy. I'm like, is there people inside there? Did they have a fire lit? Like, did people evacuate those areas, those homes, those neighborhoods that are just encased in ice like that? Are there people staying there? Like, it's just mind-boggling, right? And we've dealt with our own stuff here, right? Trying to batten down the hatches, trying to, snow snap here. We had snow, we had ice, we had conditions down to 6 degrees, trying to take care of animals that stay outside, right? Making sure that nobody died and that we're warm and we're safe. And what are our backups if we lose power? And then now we're just dealing with a ton of rain. It's warmed up quite a bit, but it's literally went from 6-degree weather to like 50-degree weather. And now it's just rain and wind. And it's crazy. And every single day I'm out there fixing stuff and readjusting stuff, and the wind has moved this and the wind has done that and the wind has broken this and I've had to fix this. And so it's a lot for everybody that is dealing with this weather. Okay. And I think it's important. I had a subscriber ask me the other day, what did I think was going to happen for weather with the spring? Like, what was my prediction? And I was like, well, that's an interesting question. And I thought about it for a little bit, and I was like, wow, okay. I think that my concern is that, one, the frost dates will be different, right, than they normally are, right? There's a certain time frame where people who garden, right, people who are getting ready for seasons are expecting to be able to start seeds indoors and then be able to transplant at some point, being able to bring stuff out. And it becomes, are those dates going to be the same? Are we going to be dealing with frost much later than we normally are? How is this weather patterns going to affect overall year for growing and growing seasons? The rain last year, we had crazy rain all up until July. I don't want rain. Normally people think, oh, Oregon and Washington, Pacific Northwest, it rains. It does. But we had a season really where that was happening. And last year already, from us being back, I noticed, wow, the rain season really pushed far into summer, right? And it's not that we don't get rain from time to time in the summer, but it was solid, right? There was continued rain. And that matters, especially when you're trying to transplant plants and maybe you're not having to worry about frost, but trying to put plants out there and they're getting, inundated with water. And so all of that is a thought process of how do we battle the weather. It's more than it's weatherizing your car, weatherizing your house, keeping your animals warm, right? Any kind of livestock, it's plants, it's garden. It's just your landscaping. You have folks that don't garden at all, but stuff has been destroyed, with temperatures getting way down lower than they ever were before, right? And that stuff costs money. Trees cost money, plants. It doesn't matter if you're just a landscape, I want to make my yard look pretty, or a gardener. That stuff is money and it matters. And it took time and all of that stuff. So getting a handle on this weather situation is going to be huge. Just in the last few days, with how high the winds have made me already implement into my layout where I can put windbreaks, different plants and areas that are going to need windbreaks, different parts where animals are going to have windbreaks, even something as simple as the greenhouse, and ensuring that there's certain wind not being able to get in stuff, and depends on how in directions you're building things, right? So lots to think about and lots to plan, and weather is going to be a huge thing this moving forward, right? We're already seeing this, and it's just not just the cold, it's the hot, it's the heat, it's the flooding, it's the mudslides, it's the you name it, right? And one of the scariest things I think is you have one crisis that happens that has to do with weather, right? And then when another one comes up behind it, imagine snow snap, you lost power, and then an earthquake happens, or something else happens, right, that you're not expecting to happens. That's bad, right? Imagine the grid for power goes down. That's one thing you have to get your mind around. But then immediately the sewer goes down, or immediately there's a water issue, right? You have already compacted, okay, there's no power, let's move forward with stuff. And then it's compacted right away by anything. A tree falls on your house, half your house is exposed now. Now you're trying to fix that. You're already dealing with no power, and now you have to deal with, yourself fixing that, well, not fixing it, but repairing it enough so that water and everything and more damage is not being done in your house, right? So, and that's the worst thing, is something happens and then compact and then compact and then compact, right? What's the side effects of what's happening? So, these are my 5 things that I'm watching, if you would say. I'm expecting to happen this year. I'm preparing. I'm making sure that I've crossed all my T's, dotted all my I's, and made sure that I'm preparing and making sure I'm thinking about these 5 areas, these 5 things, because they're not going away. And if anything, they're going to get worse moving into this year and the year after that. And there's no going back, like I said the other day. So I hope you guys are well. Be well. Be kind. For that person that wanted to come at me on somebody else's channel, I had some choice words for you, honey, because that's me too. I'm a little bit hood and I'm a little bit holy. So don't mess with me, okay? And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. Thank you. You guys do it in love. And it's crazy that I had to say that. And then in my very next breath, I say, be kind, be well, do everything in love. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Take care. Bye.